Software-defined networks are poised to transform the operations of telcos, enabling faster and better service provisioning. But whilst the SDN needs of telcos are different from those of the enterprise, are there any differences in requirements amongst carriers?
But it really has to do, I think, with the type of carrier and size of carrier and the type of services which they're offering. And I trust, that the carriers which offer traditional legacy services and have no plans to migrate from them will probably take longer to deliver or to deploy SDN, simply because they do not really need the features that SDN provides. While those who look into new services, new business models, more agility, they will be more likely to adapt SDN faster.
And what about regional differences? Colt's recent acquisition of Asia's KVH begs the question, are the needs of Asian operators different from those in Europe?
I think there are, mainly in the patterns of the demand that we're seeing in APAC is different from what we see in EMEA. And similarly, our KVH Colt network in APAC definitely has a different structure compared to Europe, where Colt has a tremendous amount of fiber, many metros. We tend to have our own fiber deployed in hotspots that are concentrated on business centers for the capital markets, for high-frequency trading, media, content, and other verticals. So we tend to be a much more focused niche player in APAC. So that definitely creates differences in what SDN needs to do. We're not going to have the same number of large volume orders every single day that Colt does in Europe, but we have a lot of wholesale transactions. We have a lot of requests for packet optical services. So we definitely need strong multi-layer service capabilities. So packet optical with SDN capabilities that go all the way from layer 3 all the way down to layer 0.
One of the biggest issues brought up by SDN concerns Telco Resources, specifically the new software skills required.
Consider a simple network. You have like maybe 1 or 2 network engineers that configure the network by themselves, and then you have more customers and you have more configuration tasks, and you need to hire more engineers, and suddenly you have 2 engineers try to configure the same port, the same router at the same time, and you have a catastrophe. And that's when you start writing scripts, and you need software to manage your network, because you can no longer manage it manually, not only time-wise, but also organizational-wise, operational-wise. That is the reason why carriers move into SDN from an operational perspective.
The industry is going through a real transition in terms of the skill sets that are required. It's one of the biggest issues right now is where do those skills reside? At Cisco, we're looking at perhaps using our Network Academy to bring through more software networking resources into the market, because this is really, it's a major gap at the moment. We talk about modeling, different types of modeling to help automate the delivery of new services, but the skills are the bottleneck, in my opinion.
Currently, vendors are focusing on niche SDN offerings with limited portfolio options available, but that shouldn't deter telcos from investing in SDN and software engineers now.
We would like to see more complete portfolios, but I think the time now is for these vendors to focus and have very strong solutions in a limited domain.
I've been suggesting to them that for several years now that they invest now, even at a small scale, get some in-house experience, do a lab trial, if nothing else. And number 1, build up your software skill set in your company. And number 2, push your vendors for what you want.